I journaled recently about the question that people sometimes will ask themselves or others: if you could be born at any point in time, when would you want to be born? And I said exactly when I was, because I do feel like I am in the right place at the right time in history. And one of the biggest reasons is because of language and words. Because when I was growing up, and all the way up until this last decade, there weren't words for a lot of the things that I felt. That was a huge contributing factor to me feeling like I constantly was confused, lost, didn't understand, because there weren't words for what I was feeling and experiencing and going through. One, I didn't have the words because I didn't have the knowledge, but two, the words didn't exist. Our society has had such a huge shift in mental health and created so much vocabulary around mental health, and it's amazing. I say all this because I just connected a word with something that always caused me so much distress growing up, and I could never put my finger on it, and it was always so hard. Because when you don't have words for something, you feel gaslit because you can't defend it, you can't back it up, you can't explain it. And so when you try to talk about it, people brush you off or they make excuses, and you have nothing to counteract it with. So you constantly feel gaslit. Oh my God, that's huge right there. That right there is huge. Thinking about it like that is important. I need to come back to that. Anyways, my mother was never one to try to connect with me. She never sat and connected with me. She was never nurturing. She never looked at me in the eyes and conversed with me, talked about feelings. And I've always known she didn't have me because she wanted a baby. She had me because she wanted to get out of the house, and I was a tool. So she wanted me in the sense that I was a tool to help her. She didn't want me for a genuine purpose that a person should have a kid, which is you have the responsibility of raising a human to exist in the world. But it was always so frustrating because, like martial arts, I was super good at it, very successful with it, but she was not a part of my process. She didn't attend most of my things. And then I later found out, years later, that she actually didn't even pay for it. I had a sponsor that I didn't know until I was much older. And yet, like, she wouldn't participate, she wouldn't be active, she wouldn't talk to me really about it. But then I would hear people say how much she bragged about me. And it'd be like, well, why didn't she talk to me about this? Like, why didn't she tell me how proud she was? Or there were times when she would tell me she was proud, but it felt fake. Anyways, I finally figured it out. My mother was performative. Motherhood for her was performative. That's why it never felt genuine. It never felt right. I never felt connected. I never felt sincerity, because my mother demonstrated motherhood from a performative motive, to look good as a mother. But getting back to the gaslighting, that is so true, because when you don't have words for something, the world gaslights you. And that's not like an intentional gaslighting from a place of malice. It's a gaslighting from a place of lack of context. When you're not able to provide context because you don't have the words, the world will gaslight you. I hope all of this makes sense when I watch this back, because it makes sense right now. Words really do have power. Words are how we communicate. Yes, there's communication through body language, but that goes through a filter. People observe body language and interpret body language. Words define what you are trying to communicate. It still goes through filters, but at least there's a chance for dialogue to gain a mutual understanding. Words are extremely powerful, and every person has power with their words.